For a long time, I thought being a good girl meant never saying no. That if I avoid arguments, not ruffling people's feathers, and even making excuses for people and their poor behavior, they would love me more. They would embrace me. They would see me, for goodness sakes. But that was far from the truth. I felt like I was running a marathon that I didn't even sign up for. And what was the point if I wasn't even going to come in first place? But it wasn't until I broke these three habits that I finally found my inner peace. And it's these three habits that I want to share with you right now. You know that feeling, right? That tightness in your chest when you know you need to say no, but the word just won't come out. The sheer emotional exhaustion from biting your tongue just to avoid an argument. That feeling is real and it's not just in your head. For years, I've lived like this. I told myself it was just my personality. Oh, I'm just easygoing, I'd say. Or I just don't like confrontation. But the truth is, I was just feeding my own anxiety. People pleasing wasn't a personality trait, it was a habit, and it was stealing my joy. And this isn't just a feeling, there's a real psychological reason for it. Constantly pushing your own needs to the side to make other people happy can fuel everything from chronic stress to full blown anxiety. But here's the good news, the truth that changed everything for me. These are not permanent parts of who you are, they are learned behaviors. And anything that has been learned can be unlearned. Today, we're going to walk through the three biggest habits I broke to quiet my mind and find a steady sense of calm. These aren't massive, complicated psychological theories. They are simple, real world shifts in how you think and act that you can start trying today. So, if you're ready to trade that constant anxiety for a life that feels more like you, let's get into the first habit you need to break. Let your no be no. The first habit that was secretly destroying my peace of mind was my inability to just say no. From the outside, it looked like you're just a really, really nice person. You're helpful, you're agreeable, you're the woman everyone can always count on. But underneath it all, this habit is usually driven by a deep fear of disappointing people or being rejected. You say yes when every part of you is screaming, no. Not because you're just so generous, but because you're terrified of what they may think if you don't. And when you constantly put everyone else first, you're on a fast track to burnout and resentment. Now, my default setting was yes, but you let me know if this sounds familiar. Can you help me move this weekend? Yeah. Can you take on this extra project even though your plate is already overflowing? Sure, of course. Can you host a girls' night even though you're completely drained? Yeah, no problem. Every single yes felt like you're earning a point for being a good friend or a good daughter. But your own energy, time, and mental health are going completely into the red. You end up feeling stretched so thin, quietly bitter, and completely out of touch with what you actually wanted or needed. And that's the trap. You get so focused on being everything for everyone that you forget to listen to yourself. Breaking this habit starts with setting boundaries. And boundaries aren't about being mean or pushing people away, they're about protecting your energy and showing yourself some basic respect. Learning to say no is a skill, and it's a vital one. I know it may feel uncomfortable at first. You may feel a little guilty or even feel a little selfish. but it is essential for your well being. A little trick that really helped me to start was to start small. You don't have to go from being a total people pleaser to suddenly saying no to everyone. Start with some low stakes situations. Here's a great example. When a coworker asks for a small favor you just don't have time for, instead of automatically saying yes, try pausing and saying something like, "Let me check my schedule and get back to you." That tiny bit of space gives you a moment to actually decide if it's something that you can or want to do. The more you practice listening to that little voice inside, the easier it gets to honor it with a firm but kind no. Speaking up instead of shutting down. The second habit that kept me tangled up in anxiety was avoiding confrontation at all costs. Now, this is the sister habit to not being able to say no, but it's more about silencing your own voice, your own opinions, your feelings, your needs, all to keep things from getting awkward. You swallow your frustration when a friend is rude. You stay quiet in a meeting, even though you have a brilliant idea, all because the thought of a disagreement feels terrifying. But when you constantly avoid speaking your mind, you're sending a powerful message to yourself and to others that your voice doesn't matter. I remember a friend's partner at the time always wanting to go to the same loud restaurant with his friends. She really didn't enjoy it. She found it overwhelming and could barely have a conversation. But every time he'd bring it up, she'd just smile and say, "Sounds fun." She didn't want to be the difficult girlfriend or a buzzkill. The result? She spent so many nights out feeling anxious and disconnected from him while he had no idea. Her fear of a 2-minute awkward conversation led to months of feeling unheard in her own relationship. She wasn't being easygoing, she was being inauthentic with the person she cared about the most. The problem is, when you never speak up, people don't get to know the real you. They only know the agreeable, conflict adverse version you perform for them. True connection is built on honesty, and that includes navigating disagreements. Avoiding conflict doesn't make it disappear, it just lets it fester under the surface. So, how do you break this habit? Start by reframing confrontation as clarification. You're not starting a fight, you're just clarifying where you stand. A powerful tool for this is using "I feel" statements. Instead of an accusatory, "you always dismiss my ideas," try, "I feel a little overlooked when I don't get a chance to share my thoughts." It centers your experience instead of attacking them. Practice in small ways. Suggest different restaurants for dinner. Say you'd rather watch a different movie. The more you use your voice, the less scary it becomes. And you'll quickly realize that strong, healthy relationships can absolutely handle a little disagreement. Stop making excuses for bad behavior. The final habit that kept me stuck in a cycle of anxiety was my tendency to make excuses for other people's bad behavior. This one is so subtle. It's like when a friend constantly cancels on you last minute and you say to yourself, she's just busy. Or it's like when a family member makes a sharp comment and you think, oh, they didn't really mean it. That's just the way they are. You essentially become a defense attorney for the very people who are hurting you, all just to keep the peace. And my brain was a pro at this. I had a friend who was always, and I mean always, late, sometimes by an hour or more, with no text or no call. Every time I'd sit there, feeling my anxiety rise, my anger bubble, but I'd immediately start making up stories for her in my head. Traffic must be a nightmare, or something important had probably come up. I was so afraid of confronting the simple truth that my friend wasn't respecting my time and that I was creating fictions just to soothe my own feelings. This pattern is so draining because it forces you to invalidate your own emotions. You feel hurt or angry, but you immediately tell yourself you shouldn't. It's a form of self gaslighting. Over time, this chips away at your self trust and teaches people that your feelings and your time are optional. You end up living in a state of low grade dread, always waiting for the next time you'll be let down and have to explain it away to yourself. Breaking this habit requires being radically honest with yourself. The first step is to simply let yourself feel what you feel without judging it. When you feel hurt, just acknowledge it. It's okay that this hurts my feelings. You don't have to immediately find an excuse for the other person. A powerful technique is to state the plain facts to yourself. She said she would be here by 7. It's now 8 o'clock, and she hasn't contacted me. Stripping away the excuses lets you see the situation clearly. This isn't about looking for a fight. It's about stopping the cycle of protecting others at your own expense. It's about finally deciding that your feelings are a valid response to someone's actions. And there you have it, ladies. 3 habits that were holding my inner peace hostage and how I broke free. Remember that it's okay to say no sometimes. There are going to be some days where you just simply do not have the time or energy. You can't pour from an empty cup, as they say. Speaking up does not equal confrontation, but rather clarification. We can't fix what we don't acknowledge. And finally, stop making excuses for people's bad behavior. If you're hurt, acknowledge it. See your relationships clearly. See the situation clearly. Don't make stories to cover up someone's inability to honor your time, your space, and your energy. I pray that today's video was helpful and that it provided more insight into how you can move forward in your relationships. If you like content like this, please press the subscribe button. We'd love to have you here. And if you like today's video, press the like button and share this with another sister who is going through something similar and is trying to break free from these terrible habits. This may be the video that she needs. And until next time, you guys take care. This is Corey for TBV Live. Peace.